ask Nigerians to sacrifice if you can't make sacrifices. Peter Obi tackles Tinubu over large convoy. Obi's comment comes amid the outrage that is being expressed by Nigerians over the large convoy of President Tinubu during a recent visit to Lagos State. The comment, or the candidate actually, of the Labour Party in the 2023 presidential election, Peter Obi, has taken a swipe at President Bola Tinubu over a viral video of how his long convoy following his arrival from Lagos, in Lagos from Europe on Wednesday. He spoke on Thursday at St. Faith Cathedral Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion, Awka, during the burial of the late Dean Emeritus of the Church of Nigeria, the Most Reverend Maxwell Ani Kenwa, who died at 83. He said leaders who ask followers to sacrifice for a better Nigeria must also lead by example. According to him, there was no need to cut down the cost of governance, which has always been his position about governance. Obi, who said he had not seen the viral video of the motorcade, spoke like many other critics of the president on the same matter, describing it as absurd. He said, "I have not seen the video you talked about, but let me tell you what I've always said, that present Nigeria requires all those who serve and lead must do so by example. The behavior, character, and public conduct of those who serve must be in consonance with what society requires today. You cannot continue to preach to the people to sacrifice without sacrificing. The sacrifice must start with the leaders, visibly, measurably at all times, because the people are suffering and we must all be at the forefront of the suffering." Obi, while speaking on the life of the late Archbishop Ani Kenwa, said, "He's not just a pastor of God, but a great Nigerian who contributed to this country beyond his pastoral work in building a better Nigeria." Interesting. In this case, I don't think he gave a jab. Obviously, anything that Peter Obi says, especially as he'd be asked questions in regard to Tinubu. So, people would use that, or journalists would use that as an opportunity to just get him where they can, and then make their headlines go crazy for the next day. However, I think it makes sense for Peter Obi to speak like this, because if we're just going to be logical about the whole situation, especially with Tinubu's recent removal of subsidy and the consequent hike in fuel prices per litre, it is very extreme because people cannot afford fuel. So, and if fuel is that expensive, how come it's the same fuel that we're all trying to manage that you are able to, if you're really affected by this decision, have multiple cars, right, run on same petrol? If you are trying to save, or you prove that, okay, fine, you're part of the people, you understand that the decision that you have made is also going to affect your government as well, why should you be living a better life? And basically that's what I believe that Peter Obi is trying to draw out here. You must lead by example. You can't make a decision for the people to suffer, but you face a different reality. As president, you will always face a different reality regardless when it comes to your needs, let alone, the kind of job that you have. However, I personally find it ludicrous to increase the prices of fuel, because then if his convoy, of his government, actually purchase fuel at the price at which everyone else is buying fuel, then is it actually wise for you to have multiple cars? Because let's say 2015, or even back in time when fuel prices were okay, great, you can afford it. But now prices have gone up for the same fuel that you're using to drive your convoy. That is where the problem lies, and I think that is where people should hold him accountable, because it's it's inconsistent. So yeah, and again, what he's saying is those who lead must do so and lead by example. That's what he's saying. But of course, with the tension in the court, with tensions as regarding the outcome of the elections, whatever anyone does, even Tinubu, anything Tinubu does will just be highlighted and magnified, and the people can base their opinion and create their opinion and create their stories. But these are quite important figures right now who are just heavily monitored just because of the elections. And one of the comments here says, a lot has been said on the large-size convoy that followed the president. While criticism is valid, it is important to clarify for purpose of perspective. The official vehicles and the president and principal aides make up less than 10% of the motorcade. The other vehicles in the presidential motorcade belong to all state governors, heads of security agencies, party leaders, and political associates. Being the first time President Bola Tinubu will visit Lagos after being sworn in as president, the excitement of his return energized the support base to turn out their massive numbers to welcome him. And I don't get it. I really don't get it. Because in the video, you actually have, individuals hailing and calling his name. Okay. And, I understand it's culture, but it's just, if we're a government that's trying to cut costs, you have to lead by example. You really have to. And it's the loudness. It's the, I'm president, I've arrived. More than just a convoy, it's such a show of presence and an unnecessary show of presence. That is not how you introduce yourself into a place. It's like, but the thing is, with our culture and characters, you go to other parts of the world and you're like, why are you making noise? No, why are you making noise? Because, with high profile people, celebrities or whoever, even if it's the president, it's always a low-key movement. Fast and efficient, get out of a place because of the attention you would bring about for yourself. But in our own country, even a local government chairman would have a convoy because you want to make your presence known. So it cuts deeper than just being responsible just because to cut cost. It's actually our culture, and you have people who feel entitled to block the road. If they don't own the road or they don't have the biggest car on the road, they will not be able to sleep at night. And I think more than just, government issue and issue of funds and that, it also shows something that is so innate to our culture and that's innate to our behavior. And I think it's that loudness and attention seeking. That's really what it is. Because in other parts of the world, they don't have this culture. In other parts of the world that are richer, that have far more resources, that have better governance, they're not even shouting as much as us. So what's the point? Anyways, I think don't forget to like and subscribe.